AMBetter is a database of over 1,400 carriers that we've downloaded from AMBest and restructured in a format that we think is more useful for marketing and sales. Now, for each carrier, we have the direct written premium by product type across the screen: ordinary life, individual annuity, group life, etc., all the way down to the last item is direct premium written total. And we've added 3 columns to the left here. When you click this button, it will give you a definition of those 3 columns. The first column is a tier. We've assigned a tier number to each carrier based on direct written premium for 2014. And the tier number goes from the smallest of 6, which is either no direct written premium or 5 million or less, all the way up to 1, the very largest, with over $1 billion in direct premium written. The A by a carrier name indicates that we have some attendees to industry conferences from this carrier in our database. And a T by that carrier name indicates that we have some tracking information for that carrier. We currently track over 100 carriers with either outstanding or potential searches for software and services. So a T indicates that we have some data in our database for that. So that is what the first 3 columns are. We also have some filters up here where we can filter this table by carrier name, by tier number, by A or T, indicating ones with A or T. So just to give you an example of how this is intended to be used, let's select tier 3 company, just hit enter 3, and then hit the return key, and the filter will be active. So it's all of the tier 3 carriers displayed now. And if we want to consider only ones that have sent representatives to trade shows, we can enter an A and hit return, and it'll limit it even further. So let's go ahead and enter a T. So we want ones that are actually have a search or active or pending. All right. So we got a pretty small group right now, only 6 of them, but that's an example of how you can really filter these down to just those carriers that you would potentially be interested in for your product or services. Now, once you get it filtered down, you can sort these tables by clicking any column. Of course, you click it once, it sorts ascending. You click it a second time, and it sorts descending. So let's just say we're going to focus on ordinary life. The button over to the far right is profile, so you can click on that and get a profile of this particular carrier. Now, the profile is divided into several panels. The top panel is information directly from AMBest. Got the carrier name and address and a hot link to their website, some information on the executives that are entered into the AMBest database, and the AMBest rating and outlook, and a tier, of course. The next panel down is attendees. Each of these remaining panels will display as many as 3 detail lines. If there's more than 4, that creates you can click the right and left arrow to display further down into the table or back up in the table. Next panel down is actions. Actions we've entered in the database. This is an item that's on the watch list for this particular carrier for agent compensation. Next item down is decisions that have been made. In 2014, they selected the FAST for a solution. And the last panel is history. ITX, prior to 2015, disseminated this kind of information in paper form. So we've gone and collected that information and entered it into a little history table so that you can have a view of things that have occurred in the past for this particular carrier. Now, some of these items are, of course, longer than what will fit in on one line. So we've got an expand button here. If you want to read the entire text, you can hit the expand button and the entire text will be displayed for you. Okay, so that is the profile that you can select for any particular carrier that is filtered out that you might be interested in for your product. Another thing that's interesting is the group button. If you're interested in a particular carrier, you can select this group button and it will display for you all of the other carriers that are associated with this one. So it's a good way of identifying all of the other carriers that are associated with a carrier that you may be interested in. And once and any of them that are in the list, you can view their profile. Okay, so that is the AMBetter display screen.